Since March 27, when 16 travelers were killed in Uromi, which is located in Esa North East local government area of Edo State, there has been no rest for Nigerians over the incident, not just because those involved were from the north and killed in the south, but also because of the critical issues involved. And those are the issues we'll be discussing on this edition of our update to you, our viewers. Welcome. And if you are ready, let's go. Welcome back. My name is Dr. Oladipo, as you know, and I'm your host on this program. I am the managing editor of the Eagle Online, which operates at www.theeagleonline.com.ng. And we operate in partnership with the Eagle Online Nigeria YouTube channel. In this edition of our update to you, our readers, we'll be exploring the issues, the very germane issues in the killing that occurred in Edo State on March 27, as I earlier told you. So we'll begin from what actually happened. From the story, some hunters of northern origin who were based in River State were traveling with their arms, that's their den guns and dogs, back to Kano State when they were stopped in Uromi, Esa North East local government area of Edo State, and accused of being kidnappers who were on another mission in the area. But rather than hand over the suspects who were said to be traveling home for the Eid al-Fitr, which is the festivities that mark the end of Ramadan, which is the fasting period for adherents of Islam. Rather than handing them over to the police, a group of unregistered vigilante took justice into their own hands and burnt them right in the vehicle in which they were traveling. What was more worrisome was the fact that at the point when these travelers were apprehended by these vigilantes, their head was said to have gone to the police station in the area to report what has happened. But before he left, reports had it that a couple of them had died. And then before he returned from the station and before the arrival of policemen, the rest had been set ablaze. Only 3 of them out of 19 that were on that journey survived and were said to be in the hospital with no update on them yet as at press time. And then this became like a war, quote and unquote, between the South and the North.
Alright, so the video where they play for my screen, that a human being and they born like that too. A human being they gather like that. About 16 of them, and they gather, born them. And they watch the video, I don't even feel look the thing well. I don't even feel look the thing well. See the way that they scream. They still get my gather there. Pour, put tire for their body, pour them. For what reason? And to think this happened in my state, Edo State, Uromi to be precise. Uromi to be precise. According to the news, 16 people were burnt alive. That's
from what we would have all seen. Both states were not at rest to even celebrate the Eid al-Fitr. And that is considering the fact that a part of Edo State is also a community of Muslims, especially those who are from the north of Edo. And then for Kano people, it has been a period of mourning. This has seen the Edo State Governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, traveling to Kano to meet with his counterpart, Governor Abba Yusuf, over the weekend and during the course of the two-day holiday declared by the federal government to celebrate the Eid al-Fitr. And what did they arrive at? Both governors, that is Abba Yusuf and Monday Okpebholo, agreed that there will be compensation for the families of the victims, and also the fact that those who perpetrated the evil in the land must be brought to justice. Not just brought to justice, they must be paraded publicly. And this is to serve as deterrence to others. But two issues came out from the statement that was issued by the first public relations officer, who is an assistant commissioner of police, Olumuyiwa Adejobi. And those two issues addressed the very essence of the lessons that must be taken away from this ill act that was perpetrated in Edo State. One is the fact that no matter the situation, jungle justice is not allowed by the law. In that statement in which Adejobi told us that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has directed the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the First Criminal Investigation Department, that is DIG Sadiq Abubakar, to take over the investigation. He also told us that there is no room for jungle justice in the country's law. That is on one side. On the other side is the fact that people, no matter who they are, Nigerians are not allowed to carry arms publicly, except those who are authorized to do so by the law. And the law does not cover hunters taking their weapons around. In that statement, he said, and let me quote just a part of it. He said, that's Adejobi now quoting him. Additionally, while condemning the resort to jungle justice, the Nigeria Police Force reiterates that the unlawful possession of firearms remains a criminal offense under Nigerian law. Individuals in possession of unlicensed firearms are advised to report to the nearest police station to surrender such weapons or initiate the appropriate licensing process. The force warns the public to desist from taking the law into their hands and encourages the prompt reporting of suspicious activities to lawful authorities. That's Muyiwa Adejobi now speaking. So, what are the lessons to be derived from this? Like I've said, two from that statement. One, no jungle justice. It's not permitted by law. Number two is that unlawful possession of firearms remains a criminal offense in Nigeria. And indeed, that was the basis on which the attack took place. But then for those who are living in that area, there is an additional lesson that came out from what they said. And that is the fact that for a very long time, the area has witnessed attack by supposed herdsmen who, according to the residents, for years, especially in the last 1 year, have been kidnapping their women. They included virgins, children, and elders alike, raping them and also killing them, even on market days in the area. We are going to come back to that statement because it's a major crux in this matter. That statement, which was signed by the chairman, Professor G.R.A. Okogun, and General Secretary, St. Moses Erumosele, both of them of the Esan Descendants Assembly worldwide, was very categorical and open, despite the fact that they also kicked against jungle justice and commiserated with those who lost their loved ones in that attack. So what did they say in that statement that was issued on March 30? The Esan Descendants Assembly worldwide. And I'm going to read that statement in full in order to allow viewers take a good lesson away from the fears that these people had about these travelers who have been found to be innocent and who were not part of the unfortunate killings that some herdsmen who have given herdsmen a bad name. And this is seriously so in so many states of the country. Let me read that statement in full, and then we can then look at so many states in which people have been complaining, especially in the southeast and south, about the atrocities of some herdsmen. The statement reads, "It is with a heavy heart that we speak today, for a great evil has visited one corner of our land, Uromi, one that has shaken the soul of Esan land and brought sorrow to many homes beyond our borders. 7 human lives, men, flesh, and blood like us, were taken by fire in the town of Uromi, burnt alive by a mob, not the whole of Uromi people, that's in parentheses, driven to madness. And we, the sons and daughters of Esan Nomu Udu, cannot be silent. The Esan Descendants Assembly worldwide, the umbrella of all Esan people and organizations at home and abroad, condemns this act in the strongest terms. It is an abomination, an unspeakable tragedy. And though the deed was done by few hands, the shame falls upon all of us like harmattan dust. To the families of the victims, to the communities, and to the states they hail from, we bow our heads in sorrow. We say sorry, not out of formality, but from the depth of our collective conscience. We say sorry because we know that no child should be taken by fire, no mother should be made to weep in this way, and no land should be stained by such horror. Yet, as we mourn and apologize, we must not pretend that all has been well in our land. For years now, worse within the last 1 year, Uromi and its neighboring towns have lived under the shadow of terror, of kidnappers who snatch women, virgins, children, and elders alike, of rapists who know no fear, of killers who walk boldly on market days. And while our people cried for help, the silence from those who bear the burden of governance was louder than 1,000 drums. Frustration oftentimes leads people to insane delusions, like the unacceptable madness we witnessed in Uromi. When a people are pushed to the edge, when mothers can no longer sleep in peace and fathers must hide their children, something inside begins to die. And what we saw on that dark day in Uromi was not justice. It was the bitter fruit of neglect, the madness that comes when the people are left to fend for themselves. But madness must not become our way. Esan land is a land of honor, of kings and scholars, of farmers and warriors. We do not kill in the name of fear. We must return to the path of law and justice. We call on Governor Monday Okpebholo, Commissioner of Police, Director of DSS, that is Department of State Service, heads of relevant security outfits, and the 4th Mechanized Brigade, and all in authority to wake up from slumber Let them rise with the same sweetness they showed after this tragedy and fight the terror that has long tormented our villages. Let them protect the living with the same zeal they now use to count the dead. All lives matter. This bloodshed must end, not just in Uromi, but across the forest and farmlands of Edo Central and across Edo State. Enough is enough. That was what the Esan Descendants Union said. And from reports which the Eagle Online has carried, from those also presented by the Eagle Online Nigeria, this YouTube channel, we've recorded a lot of losses in Edo State in terms of supposed alleged admen attacking villages, rendering people homeless, some going into farms and destroying large acres of farms. And that is the other point we must also note, especially coming from the EDA. There was a time that in the same Edo State and the same area, we are in the process of trying to escape from people who are believed to be herdsmen. Some have run into policemen and even formal and legal security checkpoints. In Enugu State, complaints about herdsmen. In Rivers, the same. So many areas in the southeast and south-south. And the terror is also spreading to other parts of the country, including the southwest that was believed to be immune to such attacks. Now, the lessons have been learned. Like EDA said, it is important that the swiftness with which the police reacted to this incident in Edo State should also be the same swiftness with which such attacks should be handled, so that we don't keep having a repetition of this. We've seen areas where people have taken laws into their hands. We've seen people jailed. In fact, in some instances, it has been in the course of defending themselves that some end up killing or injuring their attackers. And they are held liable for it because the law, as stated by the police, does not give room for jungle justice or retaliation. The law doesn't give room for that. But in all, the lessons that we should take away are the fact that, one, there should be no jungle justice. Number two, people should stop moving around with arms and ammunition, even when their job tends towards that. And three, as security agencies must tackle the issue of herdsmen, gunmen attacking villages, attacking villagers, and rendering people homeless, making them lose their loved ones. It is important, and that is the point that a lot of Nigerians are making. We shouldn't wait to get into a situation in which we are now, where, like Governors Abba Yusuf and Monday Okwebolo have agreed that compensation should be paid to the families of the victims. No amount of money can replace a loved one. Yes, life will move on. Things will get better, or we paper over it like we've always done. But those issues, they remain germane to the continued peaceful coexistence of the country. It is not all the time that Nigerians want to wait for statements from government officials condemning such killings. It is time, as Nigerians have said, for our government to be proactive, for our security agencies to use intelligence-led operations to nip such things in the bud. It's gone beyond just waiting for us to always react. The perpetrators in this case must be brought to justice, and swiftly so. From reports that the police released, 14 people have been caught who were part of this jungle justice that led to the burning of travelers who were just going home for holidays. Here, we also back what the two governors have decided. They should compensate the families to assuage their losses. And we also say to the government that the perpetrators must be brought to justice. But more importantly is the fact that we need to nip such things in the bud by ensuring that people have a sense of security, and not just having that sense, but also feeling it and living it. Nigerians must be able to move around in peace and not in fear. So we drop it there and say, we appreciate what a lot of those who are involved, highly placed people have been saying, and we'll end with what the 16th Emir of Kano, Malam Muhammadu Sanusi II, said. Let me quote him as we wrap up. He said, "We got information yesterday, that Saturday evening, that youths in some areas are planning to launch reprisal attacks on non-indigens after Eid prayers. We are instructing them not to carry out such attacks. We appeal to them not to take the laws into their hands. They should avoid a breakdown of law and order. We call on all traditional leaders to be vigilant. Similarly, we appeal to the relevant authorities to ensure justice for the victims. They should investigate and prosecute persons behind these barbaric acts." That's the end of the quote. Indeed, nothing untoward happened in Kano, from where those killed hailed from. And this is the way we expect our leaders to react to such things. As we pray for the repose of the souls of those who died, we also want to see swift justice. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the like and share buttons to ensure that Nigerians and more people get to see this program and learn from it. This is even especially so for our security agencies, because we need to ensure that Nigerians have not just a feeling of being secured, but that they are secured. Do remember, my name is Dr. Oladipo. Until we come your way again, I say bye.